welcome back to our third episode of the year. It is episode 14. Feels a bit special actually. I feel like I've got a guest, but you're not actually a guest because this is his YouTube channel as well. But Joe is joining me this week finally. We're only 3 weeks into the year. To be honest, I need him to join me because we are talking money this week. So yeah, if you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you're subscribed. Like, comment if you have any feedback, anything you want to see. Yeah, we really appreciate it. And yeah, if you aren't new here, then welcome back. So yeah, like I said, this week we are talking money. I don't usually like to talk about money because it's normally me spending it and I'm normally getting in trouble. However, this week we are going to sum up, basically total up everything we spent, every little detail, the amount of money that we basically spent setting up life here. So anything we spent from the moment that basically we started the move, so when Joe came over, right through to me and Phoebe being able to arrive and actually live normally in this house, basically survive. So anything we needed to buy to get to that point for us all to be here. So yeah, hopefully it's a useful one and you enjoy it. So I do have a trusty spreadsheet because unfortunately there is a lot of things that we have to pay for. So
I feel like this is going to make me feel sick when we get to the end of this.
Yeah, when I totaled it up, it did make me feel very sick because I was thinking of all the things that I could buy with this money. But nevertheless, we set up a new life, so I suppose it's actually not a lot of money when you feel it that way. Also, just a bit of a caveat before we start. Some of this is obviously very subject to us, so there's a few bits in here that most people wouldn't need to spend, or also on the flip side, there's a lot of things that we didn't have to pay for to set ourselves up here. Like, we don't own our own business, we're not self-employed, so all of that kind of stuff we didn't have to do. So yeah, this is very much just a reflection on what we spent basically moving a family of 3 over. I'm a housewife, obviously Phoebe's dependent and Joe is working. So yeah, this is what we spent. So we'll start off with the items that were kind of like just Joe getting onto Dubai land, basically, what he needed to do. So the first one is the attested documents in the UK. So this included...
So this was my degree certificate, our marriage certificate and Phoebe's birth certificate. That was the 3 documents that we needed for my job and also for the visas.
Yeah. So this cost £360. However, £65 of this was us shipping the documents out here because we were really tight on time because Joe had actually moved to Bahrain and then quickly within a week decided that we were going to Dubai. So we were on a really quick turnaround. So ordinarily, I think most people would have them attested and they'd fly out with the documents themselves on their flight. But we had to send them via DHL or something like that. So that was £65. So I guess technically it cost £295, we had the additional cost. So then on the flip side, you had to get exactly the same documents then attested the UAE side, which I think everybody has to do, don't they?
So you get them attested in the UK in the UAE embassy. Yeah. And then you get them attested when you're over here just to confirm that what you've done in the UK is correct, basically. Yeah.
So that was £250. Then our shipping. So we decided to ship some personal items. We didn't ship any furniture, nothing like that. We just shipped I think it was about 6 or 7 cardboard boxes and a set of golf clubs.
Most importantly.
And that was via sea, and it took about 12 to 16 weeks. I think we were quoted, but we was quite lucky. It came quite quick, and that cost us £503. So
very good, wasn't it?
Very reasonable. I have spoken about the shipping company before, but if anyone is looking for a shipping company, give us a message or a comment and I'll tell you the company we use because I would really recommend them. They were so good.
You hear some horror stories.
Yeah, and touch wood, we were pretty lucky. Right, this one does make me feel a bit sick. So the flights. So again, like I mentioned, a lot of things most people wouldn't have to pay for, and I guess in a normal circumstance, if we could have chose when we all moved out here, we could have avoided a lot of these costs. But flights, so Joe moved out here in June, so his initial flight was paid for by your company, so we didn't have to pay for that. However, we had a few plans over the summer. It was Phoebe's first birthday. I went to the south of France. Then it was my best friend's wedding, and then equally Joe also came out at that time to move us all to Dubai. So these flight costs are basically all the flights that Joe had to pay for to come back and forth to the UK, and also mine and Phoebe's flight to move out here. For us, that was a part of moving out here.
Yeah.
Joe had to go in June, and I had to stay in the UK, so that was a cost that we unfortunately did incur, and that cost £2,428.
Jesus Christ.
And they weren't even glamorous flights.
No, they weren't. No, one of two was connecting through Doha, which was quite quick, and then one flight was through Bucharest, and I was literally in the airport for 5 hours waiting for the next flight, and then through to Luton, which is nowhere near.
That was literally trying to do it on a budget, but yeah, never mind. And then the last one in terms of like us getting here was our additional baggage. So when we moved, we paid for a couple of extra cases, and that cost £559. I know.
I don't remember that.
Luggage is such a rip-off. Then moving on to probably the biggest category was like securing the villa, all of the deposits and that kind of thing. We're not going to touch on our medical, our visas and all that, because Joe's company paid for all of that. So yeah, just something to bear in mind, we didn't pay for any of that, so we haven't included that for obvious reasons, because this is just what came out of our own pockets to set up here. So the next, like I said, the next big cost for us was a villa. So starting off, you have agency fees. So these came to £1,550. And that is non-refundable, right?
That's it. That's just paying the agent to find you somewhere and sign the lease.
Then the next one is the deposit, which is refundable when we leave, and that one was also £1,550.
5%,
Yeah. So yeah, like Joe said, that will be 5% of your yearly rent.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, is how they work that one out. Then the next one was the Ajari, was £44. What is the Ajari?
The Ajari is like you register your tenancy agreement with the government, so you know it's legitimate.
Okay.
Gives you access to like your rental rights and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is the DWA deposit. So I guess this is to get the electric and the water up and running. That was £800. Oh, that's pretty spenny. Just to get another bill.
It's set. So for a villa, it's 4,000 dirhams, which is 800 quid.
Yeah.
For an apartment, it's half, so £400.
Okay. And then the next one was the gas connection, was £50.
Yeah.
That's so mad, isn't it? You have to pay to get access to your gas. Then there was a gas deposit, which I'm guessing is refundable, is it? Fantastic.
I hope so.
£200. So we might actually be pretty rich at the end of this when we get all this back.
Remember. I'm glad you've got a spreadsheet to actually remember what we paid.
Then the chunky one is the upfront cost of our rent. As most people will know probably by this point, if you have watched our videos or you've watched other people's, rent out here is done like normally either like 1 check for the year, 2 checks for the year, if you're lucky 4 checks, and if you're really lucky 12 checks. So we basically had to pay 6 months of our rent up front. So that was £15,500.
Do you know what? When it's in dirhams, it doesn't sound as bad, but when you convert it back to pounds, it sounds awful.
It sounds worse in pounds, yeah. So then our villa also didn't come with appliances, and obviously in order for us to like get over here and live, we obviously needed appliances. So this included, I think, the oven, the fridge, the freezer, and the washing machine.
Yeah, just like
and
essentials. No, the TV separate.
Oh, the TV separate, yeah.
Just like we've got a dishwasher, but you know
we
that's
didn't
a
get
nice
that
to have,
away,
isn't it?
yeah. So we haven't needed that. So that was £1,057, which actually isn't too bad for all of those. Like,
they're good
big double oven,
exactly,
big fridge freezer. Okay, so that was the villa, and then furniture, again, we just got like the bare minimum, like we didn't even get a bed for ourselves, we just had an airbed to start with, just while we found our feet. Also found stuff we liked, and just like to manage cash flow. So we bought Phoebe a cot and a mattress, that was £309. We bought a sofa, which was £530. Exhibit A. We bought a TV, which was £359. We bought a double air bed, which was £45. And we bought pillows and a duvet, what a luxury, which was £96. And we bought our own bed sheets from the UK, didn't we? We were saving the pennies at this point.
We plonked it on our double air bed.
We did, that was awful. And then lastly, so at this point we're all set up, and then literally the last one is the car rent for the first month. So obviously you needed a car to be able to get around to viewings, get to work, all of those sorts of things. So rental for cars normally are quite spenny, but this was actually I think quite reasonable, £430. But Joe does have a little hack, don't you?
See, I still think £430 is quite expensive.
What, for a car?
Well,
not when I know people that spend like double that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Basically, what I've always done is hire the bottom of the range car because it's probably the most in demand, and then they never have it in stock. So when you get there, you always get upgraded.
And there you go. That is Joe's money tip of the week.
Yes.
We'll be back next week for another one.
Yes.
That is everything broken down. So drum roll please, because I'm going to reveal the total, and I'll reveal it in pounds and dirhams.
Okay.
So the total we spent in getting over here was 26.6k in pounds. So £26,622.80 for us to set up our life in Dubai, which came to 133,114 dirhams.
And how much of that are we going to get back?
We have just worked out of that
really.
what we are going to get back in deposits. And I thought it was going to make me feel better, but it's actually not. It's literally only £2,500. So
which you probably spend at the airport on. So I have to get these sunglasses to add to
my memory of living in Dubai.
my 7 pairs that I've already got. No, but I need to
actually I haven't had a pair in a while.
No.
So yeah, I hope that was useful because some of this information is probably not like readily available. And hopefully it's useful and it makes you think about how much money you have in the bank before you make the move, because it can be quite difficult, but it is doable. So that is it for us this week.
I'm not even happy about that, to be fair.
I feel like
I'm happy
filming this episode is actually probably not a good idea because it reminds you how much money you spent. Now you're going to be really tight.
We're getting £2,500 back though, so every cloud.
I'll start spending it in my head.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Right, thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed. Like I said, make sure you subscribe and leave any comments below if you did enjoy or you've got any feedback. See you next week.